Hello and welcome to all students. Students, we are in the topic of modern periodic table, and this is the next part of the modern periodic table. And in our previous lecture, we have seen the different electronic configurations of elements, as well as we have also seen the different blocks of the periodic table. And in our today's lecture, we are going to start a new point, that is classification of elements. Now students, we are already familiar with different elements, but in our day to day life we are using these elements in the form of metals, non-metals, and some of them are metalloids. And this slide will shows that in our day to day life where we are using such elements in the form of metals, non-metals, this pictorial diagram will shows us where we are using in our day to day life these elements. So in continuation with that knowledge, we will classify this periodic table in different parts. That is, first of all we are going to learn metals. Usually they are found on the left side at the center of the periodic table. If you look at the modern periodic table, in the modern periodic table you will find some metals on the left side and at the center of the periodic table. 3/4 of the discovered elements are nothing but the metals. Means maximum elements from this periodic table we can say as a metals, and they have high thermal and electric conductivity also. As we know the properties of metals, we can mention this is the very important property metals have. They have thermal and electrical conductivity. Metals have mobile particles that can carry thermal or heat energy and electrical charges from one point of the material to the another point. This is the very important phenomenon by which metals can transfer electricity. Means through any metallic conductors we can pass the electricity. Metals also have the ability to lose electrons. This is also a very important property, which by this property metals we can say they lose electrons in many different processes. Along with that, metals in a group from top to bottom of the periodic table metallic character increases, and this is a very important trend which we have seen in the periodic table. Bottom elements of the periodic table, the most of them are metallic, top elements least metallic. This is the behavior of modern periodic table. Means if we move from top to bottom, metallic character, that is metallic property of elements goes on increasing. And if we look at in across the period, that is if we move from left to right, metallic character decreases. Means if you observe the periodic table, at the extreme left side sodium is present, which is highly metallic, and if we move to the right side of the extreme right side of the periodic table, at last noble gases are present, but previous one of that halogens family is present, they are non-metallic. So this is a very important trend. Across the period from left to right, metallic character decreases. Right elements least metallic, left elements most metallic. Students, should this is the important point that you should remember. Right elements are, we are saying, as a least metallic according to their property, and the left elements are the most metallic. Metals bottom to left corner of the periodic table are the most reactive metals. More metallic means we can say as a these elements are more reactive. Group 1A to 2A, that is both the groups, they are very reactive metals. In this category, lithium, sodium, potassium, such elements falls under the first A, and in second A, magnesium and calcium, such elements falls under the 2A, that is second group. Now transition metals. Students, the middle portion of the periodic table is consisting of transition metals, and these metals are less reactive among the metals. Coinage metals, unreactive transition metals at room temperature. Their examples we have mentioned in the bracket: gold, silver, platinum. They do not react with most of the substances they came into contact with. Now students, look at this slide. You will notice here the different shades of the color. Means we can say that we can divide a modern periodic table in the form of metals, metalloids, non-metals. Students, as we said in the previous slide, the metals are more in numbers from the all over the elements, and they are denoted with the sky blue color in the periodic table. You will notice here their numbers is also very high. And if you look at the orange color elements, means the elements which are shown in the diagonal form in the periodic table, and they are denoted with the orange color in the periodic table, they are nothing but the metalloids. Means they shows both the properties of metals as well as non-metals. And the third part, that is the elements which are shown with greenish color, they are nothing but the non-metals. Means the metals which are present at extreme right hand side of the periodic table, they are nothing but the non-metals. So we can divide the modern periodic table with the help of different shades of the color. So this slide will gives us the detailed information of the properties of elements. Now students, we are moving towards the next point, that is non-metals. Non-metals lie on the right side of the zigzag line that we already seen in the previous slide. Look at this, the elements which are shown in the at the extreme right side of the periodic table. 22 known non-metals, 11 are gases. If you observe, most of the elements which are present at extreme right side of the periodic table are nothing but the gases. So here in this our slide we have mentioned 11 are gases and the remaining are non-metals which are present in the solid form. Non-metals do not conduct heat and electricity as well. We are already familiar with it. They have little luster and seldom reflect light. Some of the non-metals will show such a property. Non-metals usually brittle. As we know the nature, that is brittleness, they get break down, but they cannot be molded, or we can say we cannot twist these non-metals. Non-metals tend to gain electrons, means these are the electron acceptors. As to the metals, we already said that metals are electron this shows the nature of electron giving, but here in case of non-metals they are nothing but the electron gainers, means electron acceptors. Now moving to the next part, that is metalloids. Metalloids found along the zigzag line between the metals and non-metals. Look at this picture. You will find the elements which are shown in the orange color. Metalloids can behave as either as a metal or a non-metal. As early in definition also we have mentioned, metalloids. Now synthesis, describe the range of the elements in the modern periodic table. This is for your preparation. What is the basis of the groupings of the elements? What are the points to be considered in the determining the electronic configuration and or position of the elements in the periodic table? So students, in this our topic we have seen the different parts of the periodic table, as well as we have seen many of the properties of different blocks, as well as classification of periodic table. So this is all about today's lecture. Thank you very much.